My name is Alisha. I am 23 years old, and my story began in a small town in India. For me, America was like pure magic. I devoured every image I saw in magazines and on TV theaters, tall glass buildings, perfectly clean roads, and happy people with big, confident smiles. I saw streets filled with bright, dazzling lights every single night. Everyone told me the same thing. America is the land of dreams. If you go there, your life will be perfect. I believed it with every fiber of my young heart. I remember sitting on the rooftop of our house on warm summer nights, staring up at the stars. I'd imagine myself walking confidently through New York City, wearing a smart dress, holding a cup of coffee and a stylish bag. In my mind, America held no sadness, no poverty, and absolutely no pain. Everyone there was rich, free, and overwhelmingly happy. So, I worked incredibly hard. I studied English every single day, often staying up late reading books while my friends were sleeping. I was determined to be ready for my big dream. Finally, last year, that dream came true. I got a student visa for New York City. I'll never forget the day I boarded the plane from Delhi. My mother hugged me so tightly that I could feel her tears on my shoulder. "Take care of yourself, beta," she whispered. My father handed me a small packet and said, "Open this only when you feel lonely." I smiled and promised them, "I'll be fine. I'll make you proud." When the plane finally touched down in New York, my heart was racing with excitement. I thought to myself, this is it. My new, perfect life begins now. In the beginning, everything truly felt magical. New York streets were alive with incredible energy. There were shops everywhere, restaurants from every corner of the world, and people representing every culture imaginable. I saw foods I'd never tasted and technology I'd only dreamed of. My first night, I stood by the window of my small room, looking at the city lights, and I genuinely thought, this is paradise. But slowly, little cracks began to appear in that beautiful, idealized picture. I started to see another side of America, a side no one had ever told me about. The first problem was the sheer cost of living money. I knew America was expensive, but I didn't realize how expensive. The rent for my tiny room, just one bed, one small table, and a cupboard, was more than my father's entire monthly salary back in India. Food was costly. A bus ticket cost more than I expected, and even a simple cup of coffee was 2 or 3 times the price I had imagined. My carefully saved funds disappeared quickly, and I knew I had to find a job to survive. I managed to get a part-time job at a small, busy cafe. My shift started in the evening and ended late at night. I cleaned tables, scrubbed mountains of dishes, and sometimes served coffee to impatient customers. At first, I thought it would be easy, but after standing for 8 hours straight, my feet hurt constantly. My hands smelled perpetually of soap and stale coffee. When I finally came home after midnight, My back ached so badly, I could barely manage to fall asleep. One dark night, walking home alone, I could hear my own footsteps echoing on the pavement. Every shadow made me nervous. In India, people walked together at night, talking and laughing, creating a sense of safety. Here, I felt utterly exposed and alone. It was during one of these late night walks that I saw something truly heartbreaking. A man sat on the cold sidewalk, wrapped tightly in an old, dirty blanket. He looked up at me with tired eyes and asked, "Do you have $1?" "I am hungry." I hesitated. I didn't have much money myself, but I gave him the little change I had in my pocket. He smiled weakly and whispered, "God bless you." I realized then that even in the land of dreams, there were people who had lost absolutely everything. The rich and the poor life side by side. The next challenge was deep, profound loneliness. Back home, neighbors visited without asking. We shared meals and celebrated festivals like family. Here, life felt completely different. Everyone was busy. People walked incredibly fast, constantly looking at their phones. They didn't make eye contact, they didn't smile at strangers. Some days, I felt truly invisible. I missed my mother's voice calling me for dinner and the warm, comforting spices of her cooking. That winter, I realized you can be surrounded by millions of people and still feel profoundly, crushingly alone. Then came another challenge: culture shock. Back home, I dressed modestly and followed certain traditions, but here, life felt much more open. People spoke about things we never discussed, and their lifestyles were fast and fiercely independent. Sometimes I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. One day in a university class, the professor asked us to share our opinions. I spoke softly, carefully choosing my words. Afterwards, a girl came up and told me, "You need to speak louder. Be more confident. This is America." I smiled politely, but inside I thought, confidence isn't always about being loud. The hardest time, however, came when I got seriously sick in the middle of winter. The biting cold wind had been freezing my face for days, and one morning, I woke up with a high fever. I felt weak, my throat hurt badly, and my body was aching all over. I desperately needed to see a doctor, but I didn't have any health insurance. When I finally checked the doctor's fee, I was truly shocked. The price for a simple visit was more than my entire weekly salary from the cafe. I had no choice. I stayed trapped in my tiny room for 3 full days, simply drinking tea and eating instant noodles, waiting for my body to heal itself. That was the day I truly, deeply understood that America is not perfect. One Sunday morning, when I was finally feeling better and strong enough to walk, I went for a quiet walk in Central Park. The trees were bare, and the winter air felt crisp and clean. I sat down on a worn wooden bench and closed my eyes, taking a moment to breathe. I thought about my entire journey. I came here believing I would find paradise. a place where life was easy and beautiful. Instead, I found reality. And the truth is, reality is never perfect. Happiness, I realized in that quiet moment, is not about where you live. It is about how you live. The beautiful facade of the dream had broken, but the strong, resilient person underneath was ready to rebuild. I sat there in Central Park, reflecting on my journey. I came here believing I would find paradise, but instead, I found reality. Reality is never perfect. Happiness, I realized, isn't about where you live, it's about how you live. Yes, America gave me some incredibly hard lessons. Life here is expensive. Loneliness is real. And the rich and the poor live right next to each other. Dreams are not simply handed to you. You must fight for them with everything you have. But America also taught me important things. It taught me independence. It taught me how to work hard for my goals, how to respect different cultures and viewpoints, and most importantly, how to survive even when life gets tough. Now, when my friends back in India ask me, "Is America as perfect as they say?" I smile and answer truthfully. America is like any other place. It has light and it has darkness. The dream is real, but so is the struggle. I tell them, if you're planning to come here, don't expect magic, expect challenges. Expect to work harder than ever before. But if you are strong, patient, and wise, you will absolutely find your place. My name is Alisha. I discovered that the real dream is not about living in America. It's about living with courage, hope, and an open heart, no matter where you are in the world. This is a perfect example of natural American English storytelling. Now, let's get your speaking to the next level. We'll begin our shadowing practice so you can master the accent and flow. Thank you for joining Amy Level Up!